Yes, sir.
And it will be there and also here. Oh, that's been recording, but we don't want all that dead air. So there we go.
Don't want to record me not answering the phone?
No,
Come on.
no, it seems that would be an ineffectual use of megabytes. All right, here we go. I think we're ready to roll. Let's begin the show in 3. Hold on. Okay, 2, 1. Coming up on TMS, I want a Trans Am.
Gangnam Style broke YouTube.
It totally broke it. Sony wants to blame things on North Korea.
50 Cent can't get 50 cents out of his bank.
Jimmy Fallon is a dad again.
Aw, Therapy Thursday.
Your emails and more on this episode of The Morning Stream.
Oh, yes, the ticket he told me about. Well, let's see what he has to say. Here's the latest on my broken ankle. Doc says I'll be all right, only I have to stay off my feet for a week or so. Anyway, here's the ticket for the High Teen Carnival. It's too late to turn it in, so you have yourself a time and tell me all about it.
How do we know that he's prepared to deliver 2 complete laundries at this short notice?
The morning stream, the morning stream, the morning stream, the morning stream, the morning stream.
The Morning Stream. Look at me. Look at me. I'm the captain now.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to The Morning Stream. TMS for Thursday, December 4th, 2014. I'm Scott. That's Brian.
Hello, how are you?
Good to be here. How you doing? How's your Thursday so far?
It's good. So far, so good.
Yeah?
It's off to a real scrambling start.
Oh, yeah? Yeah? Rough business there? What's going on?
No, you know the deal. It was just that I was... I had no way to get out to answer the phone, to answer your call.
I did not. It appears I created a panic, but really on this side, I was just kind of going, I'll just keep clicking this button and until he picks up and do it to the tune of Burning Ring of Fire for some reason.
All right. Okay.
Anyway, it's all good. I really enjoyed that cover yesterday.
Oh, that acapella one?
Yeah.
I know that acapella is hit or miss for you.
Very much so. It's a certain kind. Like when they get all gimmicky with it, I hate it. But that didn't feel gimmicky to me. That felt like just talented ass people making a really good cover. You do tend to go more towards the professional karaoke compared to the karaoke.
To the karaoke, exactly. To like the collegiate acapella.
Oh.
Karaoke. What am I saying? Karaoke.
Yeah, you said karaoke.
Well, whatever. Same thing, right? Acapella karaoke.
Karaoke, sure. That won't offend any of those people.
Why was I thinking? Why did that word come in my mind?
I don't know. Traditional karaoke. I like it.
See what I mean? I'm just frazzled this morning. I guess it isn't just the missed call. It's just like feeling like I'm behind the gun.
Maybe you had something weird in your coffee.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I did go to Starbucks this morning, which I usually don't do during the week.
Oh.
Like usually I'll swing out there maybe, on a Saturday morning and go pick up breakfast burritos for the family, and I'll grab a Starbucks while I'm out.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows? Whatever they put in here.
Yeah, you don't know until you get down to the bottom.
Into the secret ingredients to make you crave it for nightly jagger.
Do you buy into this whole like let's get something all pumpkin spiced up for the holiday kind of thing with your coffee, or do you avoid that particular trope of the year?
Do I do? No, I do like the seasonals. I like this for example is the chestnut praline or praline caramel or something. I do like the seasonals. I'm not as big of the pumpkin spice latte that the coming of the apocalypse pumpkin spice latte.
Yeah, people act like it's the greatest thing in the world. I mean,
That's
if
right.
it's not Shamrock Shakes or freaking McRibs, it's something Starbucks is doing.
It is funny how just making something seasonal that they could offer year round, all of a sudden makes it this hot commodity. Like if Burger King only did the Whopper 3 months of the year, oh my God, it's Whopper season.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, it would be a huge deal. And thankfully, if you're into Whoppers, you don't have to wait once a year for that. You can just get it all the time.
You can just go get your dang Whopper whenever you want it. But I
it's
mean, that would be the way to create your false demand,
your artificial sense of
urgency.
and also scarcity. So it's like,
Yeah, right.
oh, well, we can't possibly put together 14 different kinds of fat meat and call it a McRib all year long.
That's right, exactly. Do people think that the ingredients for a McRib are not available year round?
I guarantee they are. Hey, as long as there are morgues in this country, there are ways to get McRib meat.
That the Fuzzy Pumper Barbershop Play-Doh set that cranks out those things is not available.
So gross. Anyway, I had one of those when I was younger. I'll never have another one. I've come to that realization that a McRib and our lips will never touch ever again.
Yeah.
It's gross. I don't like it. I didn't like it when I was 15 when you're supposed to like things like that.
Yeah.
It was gross then. It's gross now. And no thanks. There.
Cleo is very much defending both the McRib and the salted caramel latte.
Cleo, come on now. We gotta reassess our priorities and change our ways. All right. Well, we've got a show to do. And,
let's do the show. Let's quit giving advertising to these people who are not paying our bills.
Exactly.
And start giving a show to the people who are.
Nick and I had an argument the other day. He goes, we were in a Starbucks, and he says, "Dad," yeah, I says. He goes, "That's probably not important, that part of the story." I've padded my story for NaNoWriMo. Anyway, so Nick says, he says to me, "Dad, do you think there are more Starbucks than there are McDonald's in the world?" And I, first glance, actually didn't know. I thought, oh, wow, there are a lot of these. Like, they're quite literally every other corner where I live. And I assume this is true everywhere. So it may be that
they put them into grocery stores. They don't put McDonald's into grocery stores.
Mm-mm. Well, occasionally you'll put them in like a Walmart or a Target or something.
Oh, that's true. Walmart's, yeah.
Yeah, but you're right. You don't go to like a Smith's Food and Market or whatever and have a McDonald's in there. But you would have potentially that, or in some cases, like there are hotels where they definitely have a Starbucks and there's no McDonald's to be found.
Sure.
So to me, it seemed like if you counted all those locations, you would have a number just larger for Starbucks than you would McDonald's. But then I also knew that McDonald's has a larger market cap, meaning they sell more things, and that may mean more locations worldwide. So I don't really know the answer to this. But it seems practically, on the face of it, just from what I can see empirically in front of me, that Starbucks would outnumber McDonald's. But I don't know.
Yeah, and I wonder if, when you get into cities, way more Starbucks than McDonald's. When you get out towards, rural areas, maybe there's a McDonald's where there isn't a Starbucks. I know that the MGM Grand in Vegas, if we're counting that as kind of the bar alone, there are 3 Starbucks in the MGM Grand. There's only 1 McDonald's.
Oh, wow. That says something. And that's just to give you enough energy to get to the McDonald's eventually.
That's right. Well, you need, exactly. All right, if I plan my trip this way, from the lobby to the outdoors, I can hit 2 Starbucks on the way and then get McDonald's.
Caffeinate my way across the casino. Here's some statistics. This according to statisticbrain.com. This research date was 2014, July of this year, so it's fairly recent. Let's see here. American Coffee Global and coffee house chain based in Seattle, Washington. Starbucks is the largest coffee house company in the world with 23,187 stores in 64 countries. That includes 12,973 in these states united, 1,897 in China, 1,550 in Canada. There are more in China than Canada. That's funny. And 1,088 in Japan and 927 in the United Kingdom. So
23,000 is our number.
23,000. Now, if we look up McDonald's, here we go.
Wow.
Oh,
I'll bet it's going to be close.
What's going on? Showing McDonald's. Yeah, I want McDonald's. Here we go. Mega Church. I don't want that company.
McDonald's Mega Church.
Here it is. M. Where are the M's? There are no M's. Why are there no M's? Here we go. Nope. Monster, Nestle. No. Why isn't McDonald's in there? Okay, they don't have them. Great. What a waste of time that was. How can your company have? All right. How many? Hold on.
I'm going to Google number of McDonald's locations.
Yeah, that's probably the safe thing to do.
According to Google, actually, according to Wikipedia, over 35,000 McDonald's.
So they've beat him by about 10,000 locations.
Yeah, they're working on it though. I hear they're putting they're starting to put Starbucks inside the bathrooms of McDonald's now. So,
would you like a Muco Grande Mucho?
that all stems from an Onion article, one of my favorite Onion articles of all time, which was Starbucks to open Starbucks inside bathroom of another Starbucks.
That is pretty good. All right. Hey, I got a follow-up for you.
Yeah.
Burt Reynolds, that whole deal?
Yeah.
I'm going broke. Right? So in order to make a little money back, he's been auctioning off personal memorabilia, possibly his house in Florida, whatever. Just got to pay them bills. And there's no new roles rolling in for him to play the bandit or anything like that. He's got to make money some other way. He is now selling his Trans Am. Now, it's not just any Trans Am. This was the 400cc, whatever it is, Pontiac V8 engine with just over 12,000 miles is all. It's got a four-barrel carburetor. I can't get words out. And an automatic transmission. It is the car used in the film or part of the film. It was a promotional vehicle. They gave it to Reynolds as a gift at the time. He's hardly driven it.
No, one second. So this, according to these notes, it wasn't used in the film, but was a promotional vehicle. So probably like something that they used for appearances. We pull up to the red carpet.
Sure. Have it parked.
Sally Field would pull up to the red carpet and that, or
oh man, that's right. I forgot.
Parked in front of Grauman's or something.
She's done a little better than him lately.
Just a little bit.
Just a tiny bit. So
do you need to borrow some money, Bert? I like you. I really like you.
And then she flew away with her hat. As a reference, people may not get.
Way to use every Sally Field trope that we could come up with.
She's trading favors with the principal to help Forrest get a better grade. The Trans Am has a pre-auction estimate of 60 to 80 grand. That seems low to me. But bidding has already reached $70,000. This is part of that big 700 or 650 item auction for the Oscar nominee, including movie memorabilia, props, photos, a letter from Katharine Hepburn, and his 1978 People's Choice Award for favorite motion picture actor. What is a People's Choice Award? Favorite motion picture actor? What the hell is that?
Just be, Best Actor, People's Choice Award. They probably called him something goofy back in 1978 before People's Choice Awards were held in the high regard that they are these days.
Yeah.
But selling a letter from Katharine Hepburn.
That's hard, man.
Doesn't that feel like, like you're scraping the bottom of the barrel when you've got to sell something that personal?
I guess, but at some point maybe you get so old and you realize just how artificial Hollywood is that everything seems dumb, and all that matters is I need to pay my bills and afford my surgeries, and you know what I mean? Like at some point Katharine Hepburn's just a lady and it was a popular one, and just so happens she sent you a letter, but at the end of the day, if the zombies were here, would that matter? Probably not.
I guess it depends on what the letter says.
Yeah, that's why I love. There's a whole chapter or a few chapters in the World War Z book that deals with a group of survivors that include a bunch of Hollywood types, and they're useless. They are useless to the group, and nobody in the group cares anymore. It's like, well, yeah, great, you were in a bunch of movies. Now you're absolutely worthless to us. You have no skills.
Exactly. Unless you can poke a zombie in the eye with a sharp stick, you get to the back of the crowd.
Yeah, I think
we'll see if the food filters back that far.
Yeah, exactly. So my thinking is Burt Reynolds is a state in his life where perhaps the perspective has changed. Like the glamour of it all is pretty artificial. At the end of the day, it's kind of artificial, because when you're facing down the barrel of the latter part of your tiny bit of your life left, and you're not able to make ends meet or whatever, that ship has sailed. At some point, you're just like, okay, well, what were we doing again? I don't know. I just got to pay for my quadruple bypass. Here, take my car, please. All right, we got a good point.
Yeah, I guess so.
We got a good point from a listener here.
Send and receive email.
Oh, look at this. We got an email early in the show from Russell.
Russell makes a point.
He says, and I wrote, this is a good point, so very nice. He says, hi, guys. Hello, Russell. After the recent news about Bill Cosby, I realized how creepy it seems that his character, Cliff Huxtable, was an OBGYN who practiced at home in his basement. That's an interesting, how
many times have I told you not to come in the basement while I'm working?
I've got a neighbor lady down here. I can't do his voice. I've never been able to do a good Bill Cosby. It seems like everyone can but me. Why is that?
With the jello in my curry, Claire. Please sit there and watch me eat my curry.
That's really good. Damn you for having a good one. Russell says, still like pudding pops, Russell. He says there at the end.
Nice.
Thanks, Russell.
Love the pudding pops, though.
Yeah, thanks, man. All right, well, there's a little update for you. Now we're going to call Daryl and get that business going. There's talk he may be migrating to a new area in his company that may prohibit him from communicating in this way.
That's right.
We'll
we
talk
might
to
have
him.
to do Stump a Trick Nerd by Morse code.
Ooh, beep,
Starting
beep,
soon.
beep, beep, beep. All right, here he comes. Let's see what happens. Join us now, won't you, for Stump a Truck Nerd, which is brought to you by
Hero Movie Podcast.
Oh,
The
yeah.
best source of superhero movie discussion in the multiverse. Each week, Adam, Sean, and Bruce talk exclusively about the only movies that matter. Superhero movies. Hero Movie Podcast has it all. Find it at heromoviepodcast.com or simply Hero Movie Podcast, wherever you find podcasts.
Nice. That was deft use of your echo machine.
Yes.
Daryl, speaking of deft use, are you there?
I am.
Is it true that you're going to be moving into an area where you can't speak at all, like with any volume in the mornings? Like, what's going to happen here?
I don't know. I'll have to do research and go walking through there sometime and see where I would be. So I don't know.
Yeah, because rather than the segment going away, what I think I'd prefer is that you go sit on a toilet somewhere and talk to us.
That was exactly what I was going to say. Hey, Mike, you ever notice that Skeels disappears in the bathroom every day at 9:15?
At 9:15, that guy's regular as brain.
7:15?
Yeah, I wish I was that regular. We'll see. We'll get there when we get there, right? That's what you say.
Yeah.
That's what we believe. Daryl is the Trek nerd. He comes on the show, answers hard trivia questions about Star Trek. Man, I've got the coolest commercial to play during one of the episodes coming up before Christmas. I want to do it now, but I can't. But when I do, you're going to love it. It's the greatest Star Trek thing ever. You've probably seen it, but it's this fantastic Christmas song made up of Star Trek lines, and I love it. It makes me warm inside. Looking forward to that. All right, Daryl, let's get to your episode question. What episode is this original series reenactment from? All right, so it's a reenactment. It is only 3 lines long. Brian will be playing the role of Spock. I will be playing the role of Captain James Tiberius
my gosh,
Kirk.
I get it. I better take a deep breath for this one.
Yeah,
Holy mackerel.
I know. It's going to be tough. So here we go. And, and action there.
Your uniform, Captain.
Yes, it's a shame yours isn't as attractive as mine. Gestapo, I believe.
Quite correct. You should make a very convincing Nazi.
Now, scene. Now, I feel like this episode...
Is Marge having a birthday there in the background?
Yeah, what's going on over there?
Is there cake?
Everybody meet in the freaking break room. We got donuts. What's going on over there? Now Daryl's all quiet. Hey, Daryl, is there somebody looking right at you right now?
Yeah.
Yeah? Oh, for real? All right, we get to do this like a phone call to your wife or something. All right, I like this. This is good. So
All right. If the answer is A, we want you to say pick up the kids.
Yeah.
If the answer is B, you said, do we have any bread at home?
Yeah.
If the answer is
C is pregnant again, or D, I don't know where that came from. It's not my lipstick or something like that. All right. Okay. Here we go.
I can do this without any selection.
Because you've done this. You've done this before.
Wow.
You know what? That's the thing about this question. I feel like it was a giveaway, and I feel like
even
Mike.
before you mentioned the German part.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, why is that?
Can't say the word Nazi in mixed company.
The German part. That's awesome. Oh my gosh. The new political correct way of saying Nazi is the German part. No, the reason I think it's a throwaway is I think Mike's just dorking around here because he's just saying, "Hey, I want to bring up the Nazi episode everyone always talks about."
Oh, probably.
Yeah. So he's not even. This is a throwaway, but that's okay. We'll get to it in a minute. Oh, I just realized. Did I bring anything? Did I warn anyone? What are we having?
We have
We still have the little box.
yeah, and we have
Oh no, we got
the
that
bag
already.
that's got licorice and a scorpion pop and some taffy in it
Do I have that over there? I bet I do.
from Aaron from Arizona.
All right, let me check. But while we, yeah, I gotta play the thing. I mean, where's our decorum here?
Are you hungry? Aren't you hungry?
What's a foodie?
All right, hold on. I gotta grab this here box.
I've got lots of stuff in my drawers. I swear.
I swear.
I've got so much stuff I gotta throw
is that
probably
one?
a lot of it away.
Yeah.
Where did it go? Hang on.
I hope you've got the prickly pear gourmet red licorice.
Oh yeah.
Although, why does that feel? Oh, it's from.
Okay, let's do the licorice box.
Cool.
Or
and it either
bag.
says it's from the Phoenix 200 or the Phoenix Zoo.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Well, mine says Aaron Hager on it.
Well, yeah, that's who sent it.
Oh.
But when you look at the bag of licorice,
Oh, I see. Oh, yeah. Oh, and the scorpion pop? Didn't we do these once?
we did.
Yeah.
Because remember, Daryl bit off part of the tail or something.
Yeah, and I couldn't do it. I remember.
I did the whole damn thing.
Because you're gross. Did you eat the whole bug?
I did, yeah.
What?
I did it on camera to make sure they saw it. I put the whole licorice pop in my mouth, broke it off, and chomped it down.
So you can't thick and liquid, no, but entire
The
scorpion
scorpion?
in a sucker, sure.
Yeah, not a problem.
Okay, you are an odd man. All right, well I think we should do the licorice because that seems normal to me. From the Phoenix 200 prickly pear gourmet licorice,
It's also what they feed to pandas at the zoo.
and this is not cheap licorice. This is a $6 bag of licorice here.
It's a $6 bag of prickly pear. I can't say prickly pear without thinking of Nicolas Cage in Leaving Las Vegas when he's so drunk he falls down on a glass and crushes it under his butt and says, "Look at me, I'm a prickly pear."
I don't remember that, but that is awesome. It's great. Did he also say, "I could eat a prickly pear for hours"?
I
Did he
could
say that?
drink vodka for hours.
All right, so this is sticky, which probably means it's good. I'm gonna take a
Oh,
bite.
it doesn't smell
Daryl's
like regular licorice.
Using the edge of his phone to open the bag.
Yeah. Would you say it smells? I don't know what to say. It smells like.
Doesn't really have a smell.
It's not a licorice smell, so that's good.
The taste is nice. I don't know
Much
what.
more subtle than the like regular red vines or something.
Yeah,
Right?
I would agree. And there's a tang to it. Yeah, that's good. I will likely consume more of that.
Yeah,
I like that kind of licorice is great. It's the black stuff that Brian likes that I can't do. That explains you eating scorpions, dude. You're willing to eat licorice. You're willing to eat anything at that point.
I'll eat anything, whatever. I don't care.
Licorice. Black licorice is the devil's anus. All right. Do we have any birthdays, Daryl? That sounds like a
we
Star
do.
Trek episode, the devil's anus, doesn't it? Thankfully
I think
not.
you just gave me the answer to the question today.
Exactly. All right, who you got? What's going on?
Tony Todd is 60 today. He played Worf's brother Kern on the Voyager, on lots of episodes.
He's also Deep Space Nine's Jake as an old man, right?
Yeah.
And he's also Duratan in the at least the Horde missions of the Horde side of the Warlords of Draenor expansion. He's he rolls around with you constantly going, "Listen, I don't know about you, but I really could go for 12 beaver pelts or whatever." And and he's great in that role, except all I can hear is his Candyman character because
yeah.
he's the
That's him.
Candyman. Yeah, does a lot of VO now. That guy. You know who could do some VO? Or sorry, you know what I could recommend right now?
Is it a Netflix documentary?
Yeah, I know I've already mentioned it, but people should see I Know That Voice. It's quite interesting. If you'd like to just sort of get behind all that and also be surprised at some of the people who play certain things, it'll kind of shock you. Like, there's a lot of it's very Futurama heavy, that doc, which is great because I love the voice work on there. But the guy who plays Lure, leader of Omicron Persei 8, is kind of, it's a shock when you see him and you hear the other voices he does. You're like, whoa, that's really, that's who that, it's kind of that kind of stuff all the time in there. It's really good, worth seeing, and it's on Netflix, so why the hell wouldn't you watch it?
See, I know we're so used to seeing Scott Fletcher, but the first time I heard him, the person that came out of the other end of that microphone is not what I expected.
Totally agree. People say that about us all the time, though.
Like, well, what was he supposed to look like?
I don't know. How did you picture him, Brian? Because I have
basically Don Draper.
Yeah, kind of. I did too. Like big, broad-shouldered, dark,
lantern-jawed, suit wearing.
Yeah.
And he's way more approachable and friendly. Like, he's the guy you want to go up and hug.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah, and when he does dress up, he looks like a copier salesman. I really feel like he's going to show me the best that Canon's new copier Z20 can offer me.
Have you seen the new Xerox Elite, Scott?
That's what I expect, and I say to myself now, if I was talking to Fletcher and I wanted to know the most important feature of this new copier, he'd say, yeah, it's got this and that, and the toner never runs out, and this and that, and also the most important feature,
boobies.
See, right? That's what he'd do.
Perfect.
All right, Daryl?
I'd buy that copier in an instant.
Yes, you would. Let's get back to your question, which I think you already knew. Your possible... I'll tell you the possible answers just so you can, we can play around with these. Errand of Mercy, Patterns of Force, The Savage Curtain, or The Immunity Syndrome. Those are your options. We acted it out expertly, so now it's just down to you to choose.
How do I...
Oh, yeah, okay. So if it's A... You say, could you pick up some milk, please? If it's B, it's what time are you going to be home from work?
Yeah.
If it's C, my
wait,
my
you can't ask
washing.
that though. I guess your wife works, right? She's working, right? Does your wife work? Yes or no? Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, that's a fair question then. What was C? What'd you say?
C is my drawers need washing.
Okay. And D.
And D is
I'm horny. Come home now.
Do we have any preparation H at home?
Wait. Can we change B?
Sure.
B is this hemorrhoid is so big I think it may burst. That's the one you have to keep in mind, which is Patterns of Force, in case that's the answer.
Okay.
I want you to say this hemorrhoid is so big it may burst.
That thing is going to burst.
Well, let's find out if you're right.
Congratulations.
Looky there.
You're a winner.
You are a winner. Nicely done. The hemorrhoid one is correct. It's Patterns of Force. The Enterprise goes to the German planet, where they have to disguise themselves as Nazis.
As German things.
Yeah, as German things. Here's an original clip for comparison.
Your uniform, Captain.
Yes, it's a shame yours isn't as attractive as mine. Gestapo, I believe.
Gestapo.
Quite correct. You should make a very convincing Nazi.
Gestapo. That is annoying. That is annoying Kirk
Gestapo.
right there. I want to see how... I may have saved that at some point. Nope, I didn't. I thought I did.
Sabotage.
I'm going to have to, because that is just the worst. Here, hold on.
Do you have any?
Nope.
Are you trying to be?
Nope.
Spock, sabotage.
Nope.
What are you waiting for?
Nope.
Oh, that's human flesh.
Mr. Chekhov,
None of those are it. That's okay.
Kirk page in your soundboard.
Had a few there. Daryl, good job. Way to go. And I feel like we did it very stealthily today, so that's good. Daryl's the Trek Nerd on Twitter. He's also at This Week in Trek, thisweekintrek.com, and the Grumpy Cast. And he is now going to play a game with us somehow by not talking about Nazis or whatever.
Oh, great.
What's
now
it
I
called?
Have to say this.
All right.
Star Trek. Yes. Star Trek thing or that.
Scrotal disease, right?
Or it could be a Warcraft disease, too.
Oh, it could be a Warcraft disease. Interesting.
Oh,
okay. Here's your theme.
What?
All right, go.
Orchitis.
Orchitis? Orchitis.
Can we get a spelling on that?
Orc, and then an H, and then itis.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Well, I'm
Orc
sure that
hit us.
Yeah, orc hit us.
or orchitis or orchitis.
Orchitis. People are, you know what? If they're not looking at you weird before, they are now. Because you're
Yeah.
saying things like orchitas on the phone. That sounds very scrotal to me.
It does.
Like
Yeah.
too much. Either you're swollen up like a orca whale, or you've got too much milk in your. I'm thinking of horchata, which is like that.
Oh, horchata, yeah.
Maybe you got like a. I don't know what you got. Milk deficiency in
Mexican
your nut.
milk soft drink.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's say scrotal.
Okay, we say
disease.
scrotal.
Well, when you said swollen up like a whale, you're exactly right. That's what it is, caused by a viral or bacterial infection.
But only Captain Kirk. Oh wait, no, this is a real thing then.
It's a real thing.
Yay, a real thing. Go back to being normal, Daryl, because now your people are looking at you.
Television highlights of the news of yesteryear.
Oh, it's the news, and it's brought to you by...
Who are you calling your people? The Figures Sold Separately podcast, the best in nerd and geek. Join us live on December 14th at 8:30 p.m. Eastern with our special guest, Amber Nash. Yeah, Pam Poovey from FX's Archer. Go to fsspodcast.com or find us on iTunes. That's fsspodcast.com.
Hey, Brian, have you heard? Podcasts are back.
In POG form.
Yeah, they're back. I don't know if you've heard it, but they're back. If I read one more article that wants to talk about how podcasts are back surrounding only this NPR thing people are breaking out and
Serial, yeah.
spending money on, which is awesome, by the way.
It
Serial
is really good.
Really
We listened to
good.
the first episode, Tina and I did. We haven't caught up, but
I'm totally caught up, and I pine for every single episode. So this isn't me being a hater. It's freaking awesome. I love NPR. My favorite podcasts are NPR. NPR people are great. A bunch of them doing independent projects is awesome. Do not get me wrong, but if I read one more article that talks about how podcasting is finally back, I'm going to kick somebody in the nuts. It never went anywhere. We've been here the whole time. It drives me crazy. They're all
we
puff
should write
pieces.
an article said podcasting has been here the whole time.
It's just such a puff piece. We should do that. Why don't we do that? You know what? I have an idea. All right. Anyway, I have no time though, so what am I saying? Gangnam Style. You're familiar with that?
Gangnam Style.
Yeah, I think I have even a piece of that. No. Style. No. Huh. I thought I had that. Oh, yeah, I do.
That's all right.
I spelled it Gangnam Style, is why.
Oh, sure.
Oppan Gangnam Style.
All right, that broke YouTube. Now, I don't mean that suddenly a bunch more people are seeing it, but the cumulative growth of the viewership on that video has broken YouTube's code. So here's just a fun bit of trivia out there. Size Gangnam Style has been viewed so many times that it broke YouTube's view counter. Excuse me, making it the first video to break the reaches of a 32-bit integer. Now, if you remember your math, your high school calculus and your whatnot, you'll know that a 32-bit integer seems like a number containment that would never be breached.
Right, exactly. It seems like you'd never hit the end of a 32-bit number.
Yeah, but now,
Integer.
too bad, because now you did. So look at this. You want a 32-bit integer or a 64-bit integer. A 32-bit integer takes up a bit less memory, but can only be used to store numbers from... I can't read that number. What is that?
Negative 2,147,483,648 to the positive version of that. 2,147,483,000. I'm sorry. 2,147,483,647.
There you go. The 64-bit integer is a bit heftier in memory usage, but can store numbers that are ridiculous. And I'm not going to read that number because I don't even know how you'd say it. It's some trillion, begillion.
Yeah, no kidding. That's, wow. A lot of digits.
So here is the theory, though. As of yesterday's landmark and the code change, because YouTube saw this and went, uh-oh, we must change our lives. Okay? They said, we've got to fix this because this video has killed it. You now can, theoretically, support up to 9 quintillion views. So get on it.
That's crazy.
No one will ever reach quintillion.
It seems like they would have been watching this number and saying, oh, we should probably get on doing something about that. It's like Y2K. You know, people were looking at it saying, oh, 2000's coming up. We should probably issue an update that, you know, changes the first two numbers of things.
Well, it says here, this is what they said. YouTube said this publicly on their Google Plus page because, you know, That's where they have to do these things because that's their platform. It says, we never thought a video would be watched in a number of greater than 32-bit integers. But what was before we met Psy, Gangnam Style, has been viewed so many times we had to upgrade to a 64-bit. Hover over the counter in Psy's video to see a little magic math and stay tuned for bigger and better numbers on YouTube. So I don't know if it just crept up on them. They weren't really paying attention. I mean, you got to think. I guess one video with that kind of growth, you would have your eye on it. You'd think you would. But there are how many millions of videos on YouTube? Who knows? Like, it probably just got away from them. Who knows? I don't know.
Now, seeing as the internet is a quote-unquote forever thing, and potentially YouTube could be around forever, and that video could be on YouTube forever, do you think we're going to hit the 9 quintillion mark for...
No.
Okay.
I don't think we ever hit that for this video.
There's probably some math that says that video would have to be viewed once every 5 seconds for 325 years
by every
in order
human
for us
being,
to hit that number.
By every one of the 7 billion people on Earth would have to watch it every couple of minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
Probably something crazy like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be fun. It'd be actually fun to figure that math out. But yeah, way to go, Gangnam Style. You done it.
That's right.
Who'd have thunk it? Weird ass Korean video, nailing it.
By the way, Sai, I wore that tuxedo first. Just
I
letting you know.
Every time I see him in it, I get a little angry. Like, that's Brian's tuxedo, you bastard.
My tuxedo.
Open
This
Brian
is my
style.
tux.
Open Ibbot style. That's right.
Somebody did that.
That's right.
Yes.
Sony Pictures is set to blame, speaking of Korea, the North anyways, blaming North Korea for the devastating attack to the film studio. Last week, hackers calling themselves the Guardians of Peace, or the GOP.
Nope.
It's terrible. Brought down the computer networks at Sony Pictures Entertainment. Employees were locked out of email and phone systems and greeted with messages that called for the company to meet the group's demands or suffer the consequences of having its top secrets revealed. It was a picture of Newman going, An old assortment of new and unreleased Sony films began appearing on torrent sites a few days later. It's still unclear, but it seems more than likely than ever that the hack can be traced back to Sony's upcoming release of The Interview, a comedy where Seth Rogen and James Franco play characters tasked with this by the CIA with assassinating North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. According to Recode, Sony is ready to officially point their nasty little finger, at North Korea as the source of the attack. It is not known what exact allegations Sony and the security firm investigating the hack are prepared to levy against North Korea. A spokesman for the company did not provide any additional information, saying in a statement, quote, "The investigation continues into this very sophisticated cyber attack." For its part, North Korea has so far not denied its role. And they have called officially during a United Nations statement that film an act of war.
Wow.
I hate to break it to those guys. It's James Franco and freaking Seth Rogen, you guys. What are you doing? Who cares? Right. Who cares? This is like freaking out that Dumb and Dumber got made. It's gonna be dumb. It's not gonna.
More people are gonna watch that Psy video than see this movie.
This
by
really,
an order of magnitude.
This points to the problem with the nation of North Korea. They don't get it. The subtlety is lost. Like, I understand. I don't know. I guess if you're a company a country that's always getting picked on because you're the weirdos in the North with no lights on and no money and no food and everyone has glaucoma, I guess you're going to get a lot of heat and people are going to pick on you and stuff. But an act of war, really?
Yeah. It's
Seth Rogen.
So we have a guy on the inside, Dodd Vickers, who communicates with Sony on a regular basis. Yeah. And their only form of internal communication is emails that have to be printed and hand sorted and handed around to the appropriate person internally.
Oh my gosh. For real?
It's like the old days, yeah.
Wow. I don't think it should be hard either to find these guys. Because North Korea, seriously, the power's not on half the time. Like, where is this coming from? What basement in the middle of Pyongyang is this happening from? It's got to be like 2 or 3 guys they probably kidnapped from some nation with really smart hackers in it. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Who knows? Maybe it's Angelina Jolie and that guy from Sherlock.
I really like Angelina Jolie. All right, it's celebrity.
Elementary, I guess.
Oh, yeah. That's a good point. Here's this. Here's this.
Chairman J. Parnell Thomas of New Jersey opens an inquiry into possible communist penetration of the Hollywood film industry.
It's Celebrity Poop, and it's brought to you by
Darkness's Fury by Tiffany Cherney. Old secrets, plots, and ancient magic threaten to overrun Liz's fledgling rule of Seganaya. And its race, I had to skip over a whole bunch of pronunciation stuff, and it's a race to stave off the growing threat. It's available at Amazon and most other retailers, or check out more information on this book and others at tiffanycherney.com. That's TIFFANYCHERNEY.com. Darkness's Fury.
Nice. All right, 50 Cent in the news. Where's he been? What's he doing?
It's his birthday.
Oh.
We're going to party like it's your birthday. We're going to drink Bacardi like it's your birthday.
I don't really know his music at all. I just know he was a rapper man.
Yeah.
And he did a lot. He did that one video game, Blood in the Sand, or Gold in the Sand, Blood in the Dirt, whatever it is. It's a video game. And it was all right.
That one I don't know.
It seems 50 didn't pay a whopping $17.2 million judgment over a deal he made to market headphones for a company called Sleek Audio. Let's take a look at Sleek Audio.
So they hired him, is how I'm understanding this,
Yeah.
to market their headphones, and he backed out, or
Looks like it. We got dynamic range featured, a bunch of stuff here.
Huh.
I don't know what these are. But anyway, he had made a deal.
music in tune with you, proudly made in the USA. We use small caps on everything.
Mm-hmm. Well, Sleek claimed 50 stole
50.
I
I like that 50 cent.
I'm such a white guy, dude. 50 Cent. He's got the smooth raps, the slick lines, the rhymes. That's what I meant to say. Sleek claimed that 50 stole its design and then tried to market it on his own. The law sided with Sleek, and 50 got hit with a massive judgment. I hope it's $50 million. That's what I want. $50 million. Legal lesson. If you don't pay a judgment, the winner can garnish your wages and freeze your bank accounts. A source connected with Fitty tells TMZ the rapper has complete access to the business bank accounts. The only affected account, or one affected by the judgment, is his personal account. And it's not like he's broke. They estimate Fitty's worth of $140 million. Just pay the 17.2 and be done with it.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say you think he can't, but I guess if he's got 140 million.
Well, he's worth that. I wonder what that.
He's worth that.
Actually,
what he has
means.
liquid.
Yeah, sell your Trans Am and your Florida house. It'll be fine. Everything will work out.
That's right. Or just go market for these guys. I don't know.
Yeah, why not? Sleek Audio. Jimmy Fallon is a father again. I like Jimmy Fallon. He's a nice guy.
I do too. He's made it, I mean, he's come a long way from the SNL days of cracking up in every single skit he was in.
That's true. Even the being part of the famous More Cowbell sketch with Will Ferrell and Christopher Walken.
Was he in that?
Oh yeah, and he's over there laughing his dumb face off.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yep. I think of Chris Parnell and Walken and Farrell being like kind of the front people in that one, but I guess he was in the.
Yeah, he couldn't stop giggling. He was losing it over there. Yeah, he and then he went to try to do a movie career, and that fell flat. Nobody wanted to see movies with him in it, or they were all just bad movies, like that Taxi one with Queen Latifah. What was that called?
Right.
What was that called?
Taxi.
No.
Taxi. What was the name of that Taxi movie?
Was it really called Taxi? Was it?
It was called Taxi. Yeah.
Hold on.
All right.
Taxi?
Don't believe me.
No. It's not that I don't believe you. My head can't wrap itself around it. Hold on. So here we go. Actor, 24 credits.
Wasn't it? Oh God, if I'm wrong, I'm going to be totally embarrassed.
It was called Taxi. Damn it.
Yes.
2004's Taxi.
Right.
So you're correct.
What other movies was he in?
A bunch of them. So here you go.
Oh, with it?
Almost Famous, which was a very small role. Sex and the Matrix was a TV short. He was in Band of Brothers for like 5 seconds. I just watched that not long ago. Anything else? The Scheme with a $sign for the S. Taxi, Fever Pitch, Dougal. I kind of have a memory of something called Dougal. Arthur and the Invisibles, Factory Girl, The Year of Getting to Know Us, Whip It,
Whip It probably being the most famous
Yeah.
of the movies on this list.
Yep.
Right, because that was the Drew Barrymore, Ellen Page,
Yeah, that sounds right.
roller derby thing.
Yep. Arthur and the Great Adventure. He played Prince Betamench. Mech.
That's so apparently he does a lot of the voice work for all the Arthur movies.
Yeah. And then let's see. Bucky Larson, Born to be a Star in 2011.
Oh.
I don't remember that.
That was the movie with
he played himself though. So
Oh, did he?
Yeah, so I think I'm going to say around 2010.
This was the Nick Swarsden thing, yeah.
I think around 2010 he stopped being Jimmy Fallon guy trying to be in movies and started to be Jimmy Fallon dude who was going to take over late night and do an amazing job. And he really is. The Tonight Show's great with him. He's great.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he's fantastic.
You know, and I guess the Late Show with Jimmy Fallon, that started in 2009, so he was already deep into that in 2009. Went through 2012. That's all he's done since. But yeah, he's great. Anyway, he had a kid. Another kid. And had it on Wednesday with Frances Cole. Oh, no, that's the name of the kid. Frances Cole. Second daughter with producer wife Nancy Juvonen. Nancy Juvonen.
Okay.
That's his producer wife. I think
that's a picture of him with Katie Couric. That's not his wife.
Oh, in the photo?
Yeah.
In the Hollywood Reporter thing?
No, on
our link. That's,
IMDb.
Our link is definitely the lady. Or his
The wife?
wife,
Okay.
yeah.
There's him with Adele Dazeem.
She's wickedly
Maria
talented.
Menounos.
She's wickedly talented. Let's see here. Where was I here? So the baby was born, nicknamed Tweet. That's stupid. Weighs 5 pounds, 11 inches. Upon her arrival, was born via a surrogate. Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Just like 16-month-old big sister Winnie, the couple chose to keep the impending birth under wraps until the stork came down, which it did at 8:45 a.m. on the 3rd. Online reports that The Tonight Show was canceled or has canceled tapings through December 5th. Mazel
easy to
tov
keep
to the
the
Fallons.
pregnancy a secret when it's via surrogate, isn't it?
Yeah, when you get some other lady trapped in a room somewhere.
Right.
Don't come out. We don't want anyone to know. All right, well, there's that. Good for them. They seem like lovely people. He seems like the real deal, like a really genuinely nice guy.
He really does, yeah.
And just seems to be loving what he's doing, and what else can you ask for? Tweaked Audio. Speaking of great earbuds without any kind of weird, messy lawsuits with 50 Cent involved, tweakedaudio.com is here to serve you, folks. Why? Because they love you. Go there and check out their great styles and colors and choices. Pick something that you like the most. Decide what you want it for. Let's say you're really into talk stuff like that awesome podcast, Serial, and you're like, I want to listen to that more. Well, great. It's good for talk. Well, you're thinking, I'd rather listen to, I don't know, all my old heavy metal from the 80s. Great. It's good for music. Good for everything. Noise reduction, engineering, compatibility, lifetime warranty. Go to tweakedaudio.com. Use the code STREAM for 33% off. A third off the price at tweakedaudio.com. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, Wendy will be here with Therapy Thursday. That'll be fun, assuming her phone works and we can get her, where we need her to be. But before that, Brian has music.
This is going to go out to somebody who's going to be very surprised that I didn't forget. Jeannie in the Tadpool emailed in, said, my birthday is December 6th. This year it falls on a no TMS day. Boo!
Boo is boo
so on
indeed.
Thursday morning, December 4th, please play They Might Be Giants' cover of Istanbul, not Constantinople. If you've already played that on the show and don't want to repeat, please play The Martian Hop by the Randells, or is it by Martians? My grandparents had the record. I think I wore it out when I was around 4 years old. I also love Star Trekking. Yes, I'm still 4. P.S. Please ask Scott to use the Skyhawk TMS theme.
Oh, crap. I'll do it tomorrow, or I'll do it Monday.
Okay.
I did it yesterday.
We have a different theme for TMS PM.
Yeah, that's true. But maybe I'll play it just for fun tonight.
So she thought that because she didn't hear the familiar beginnings of They Might Be Giants' cover of Istanbul, not Constantinople, originally done by the Four Lads. They covered it for their monumental 1990 album Flood, which is fantastic. The guys also did a second version of it recently in 2011 for an album called Album Raises New and Troubling Questions. That's very typical for TMBG.
Yeah.
This is their electronic version, and this is fantastic. You'll definitely notice a little bit of a War Games connection as you listen to this. But this goes out to our favorite leader of the Tadpool, at least the streaming Tadpool, the person who kind of keeps people in line and is always there with welcoming and and fixing the messages. And
she is as sweet as the day is long, man.
She really is, and she keeps order where there would be none otherwise. How's that?
That's good. I like it.
All right. This is the electronic Istanbul, not Constantinople, by They Might Be Giants.
Rest your hand on rounded top and push.
That means a date. Not like just going around with the crowd. Just me and the girl. Well, that's all right. Only, what girl? Who?
How do you choose a date?
Burn in hell, you little green bastard. This is the morning stream.
Oh, we're back. That was a cool version of that.
Yeah. The people just liked it better that way. It never quite gets out like it's all this jumbled
Beep, boop, boop, beep, beep, beep.
Love it.
It's really good. That was a good one. I liked it a lot. We're back. Hello, everyone. We're back, and it's good to be back. So good to be back. Let's call Wendy now and do a little.
Before we do.
Oh yeah. What's up?
I put it in the notes here. I thought you'd see it.
No, missed it.
Could we do Cleo early? She's actually got to bail out.
Oh yeah, we can do it real quick here.
Cool.
Hold on a second. Let's pull her in. Oh,
She said she'll just drop some knowledge and run.
Okay. Great. Let's do that then. Pick up that phone. Cleo, are you there? Hello? Well, that's not good.
Cleo? Hover?
She picked up, but she's not speaking. Or she's muted or something. Cleo.
Cleo.
Did you screw something up during Nerd Parents yesterday? Oh, there she is.
Hello.
Hello, how
There
are
we
you?
go.
Hello?
What is happening?
I don't
Hover,
know.
hover.
Hover.
I'm hovering,
Hover,
damn it.
hover closer.
Shit.
Can you hear us?
Yes.
We can hear you
Okay.
now.
Okay, things are working.
Yeah. Can you still hear us?
Oh boy.
Hey, this is great. This is going great.
So glad I moved this up here.
Yeah. This is brilliant. You there? Oh, hover harder. Hover harder. Hover harder's a great what would that be? Good band name?
Hover harder. Finishing move.
Finishing move. Yeah, I like that.
Mortal Kombat finishing move.
Finish him. And then hover real quick. Hello, Cleo, are you there? Hello?
Oh.
It's not working very well. Here, let me try her one more time. Let's just give it the old second try here.
Okay.
I see dots going up and down. Hello, Cleo?
It helps when you plug in the microphone.
Ah, yes. That's the old trick.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Totally do that.
Yeah, I recommend that. That's a great way to have your computer work and be able to talk over it.
We're good. How you doing?
Yeah, how you doing? What's going on?
I'm hanging in there.
Yeah.
It's been crazy around here for about 2 weeks, and apparently that has decided not to slow down. So, you know.
Well, 'tis the season, right? Do you have...
Hey, come here. You got to say something. Say happy birthday, Jeannie.
Happy birthday,
Jeannie.
Happy birthday, Jeannie.
Oh,
Aw.
that's adorable.
It's Colin's birthday today, too, so he's excited.
Oh, happy birthday, Colin, too.
That's cute. How old is he now?
How old are you?
4.
4.
No, you're not 4. Don't be dumb.
5.
You're 5.
5. Oh, yeah, it's changed.
Already lying about his age. Boy, they
Yep.
start early, don't they?
Good man.
Earlier and earlier. I didn't start doing that till I was 32.
This is a professional thing. So
Yeah, very professional.
Yeah.
Don't let him forget it. It's so professional. We don't even know what to do with ourselves. All right.
Yeah.
Carrie, sum it up, man. I know you got to go
All right.
somewhere. So what's going on?
Here we go. Jeannie is going to win today. We're going to put that out there right now because her line from today was fantastic. So we're going to smoke through the rest of it to get it out of the way.
All right.
Okay. When we were talking about the president's kids and the Republican person that has since quit
Yeah.
because she was an evil woman to
Yeah.
those children.
Yeah.
Wind Magus told us the little Republican is what Sean Hannity calls his penis.
Oh, of course he does. Yeah. Littlest of Republicans. Anyway, continue.
Let me see what else we have here. Steinberg said the best headline he saw for this the entire week was, and I quote, GOP aide fired for slamming Obama's daughters.
Oh, man. Not good.
Oops.
That's
bad.
not good
Yeah.
for anybody.
Faux pas.
Regarding the whole North Korea scandal, I Am Sci-Fi today reminded us that only in the USA could Dennis Rodman be a solid choice for national ambassador while Seth Rogen is an act of war.
That's a really good point.
Wow.
I forgot about that Rodman stuff. Yeah, their priorities are weird.
Okay. And now when it comes to Edward Furlong's god-awful cover song from yesterday,
Yeah, that was bad.
we did When You're Strange. I could have pulled every single point for this week from the tadpole because it was hilarious. When they lose their poop over something, they don't hold back.
Yeah.
It was a riot. So I'm going to read a bunch of these stream of consciousness style just so that you can get a feeling as to how they felt about this song. Are you ready?
Yep, go.
Okay. Is Tristan singing this? Oh my God, why? Oh God, someone gave Edward Furlong a Casio keyboard for Christmas. Is this supposed to be bad? Is this Michael Phelps? Good Lord, it sounds like he's tuning a Bobcat. Well, there's 2 careers he's not cut out for. Coverville, -500 DKP, bro. This is why we have ants. My cat is freaking out. If this had been on the Coverthon, I would have donated to make it stop. Oh, look, new TMS Patreon level. Stop the awful music. And, of course, Scott is dancing.
It kind of was at one point.
That's really
So at some point, you have to just let the beast take you. And that's what
You do.
happened then.
Ooh,
Yeah.
wow.
Succumb to the music.
Yeah.
Succumb to the power of the furlong.
Indeed.
Let the beast take you.
Yeah.
Eyes warm. Okay, and the winner, of course, is Jeannie for saying that with the whole Christian Bale movie, the Rupert Murdoch drama on Twitter with regard to Exodus and the whole bit.
I like Murpock, by the way. That's pretty good. Rupert Murpock.
Yeah, it was my brother's former boss. You'd think I wouldn't screw that up.
Furlong.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jeannie says if they wanted historical accuracy, it would star Hebrew Bale.
Oh, nicely done. Birthday girl with the
Jeannie,
win.
you kill me.
Well done. Well, have fun with whatever it is that's making your day hard today.
Yeah, well, That's what happens.
All right.
Say hi to Wendy.
Bye now. All right. Well, that's out of the way now. Let's move on to Wendy, I guess.
All right.
Whoops. I screwed something up. Nope. I got
Glad
it.
it finally worked out to get her on there because
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
hilarious, especially the furlong response. I was watching that in the tadpole, and
It was pretty bad.
sometimes it's fun just to play those horrible things just so I can see the tadpole's response.
Yeah, we want to get a rise out of those folks. It's definitely one way to do
Oh.
it. Oh, hello, hi.
Hey,
Hello, hello.
Oh my gosh, it's Wendy.
it's
we
a
haven't
voice from the past.
we haven't talked to you in so long.
I don't know.
Been
Sorry
like
about that last
been like
time.
3 weeks. I'll tell you, 2 major events have transpired since you weren't here.
What,
One
Thanksgiving?
was Thanksgiving. The other was your birthday on the same freaking day.
Same day.
That's right. Can you confirm or deny the story, the family legend that is that Mom like went into labor with you right as Thanksgiving was about to start? Is that true?
Apparently. Well, how would I be able to prove that? I mean, come
Well,
on.
that's what
Yeah.
she's always said, though, right? That's what Mom says.
You
Yeah,
kind of
she
need your mom
said-
to prove that story.
Yeah, I guess
True,
so.
but I do know the time I was born, which was 5:55 p.m. So
Yeah.
it was a late dinner if she missed. I think she claims she was in labor the whole time making dinner
Mhm.
and then left to go have me, and no one saved her any turkey. That's what I've always heard.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? I did not know
Yeah.
about the turkey part. That's amazing.
Yeah, and that she had a bologna sandwich in the hospital, and that was super gross.
Of course.
Wow, that's pretty funny. I can't tell if that is either sadly accurate or totally a weird piece of guilt to tack onto. I was in labor with you for 5 hours, and also
yeah, well.
no one saved me any turkey. That's hilarious.
And I don't feel any guilt because how would I have saved her turkey? You know
Yeah.
what I mean, I was busy.
Wasn't your job.
And
yeah.
I think 1975 was the last time they fed people bologna in a hospital. Isn't that disgusting?
That is gross. Is that what they? I mean, that's where she got the bologna sandwich. It
Bologna
wasn't.
and green
I
jello.
believe.
Okay.
I believe. Yuck.
Wasn't like Dad stopped somewhere and got one.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Seemed like something he'd do. Well, that's all good and fun. I hope you had a nice birthday. It's probably a little weird not having. I guess you had the family around. That's good.
Yeah.
But,
It was great. It was fine.
Yeah.
What you get to an age, you're like, whatever.
39, man, on the edge,
On the edge of insanity.
peering
I know.
over the edge, going, oh. Well, good. Well, I'm glad.
okay.
I'm glad all went well. Did you get anything cool? Anybody give you anything rad?
Adam got me these. I love them. He gives them to me every year, so it's so easy for him.
Yeah.
But like mucklucks, do you know what those are?
No.
Like,
Sounds like
they're
shoes,
like,
not shoes.
yeah, they are. They're like Alaskan Eskimo. They're really warm.
Oh,
and they're
yeah.
Right.
like house shoes.
Yeah.
I
The leather on
burned
the
through 'em.
outside and the fuzzy on the inside.
Yeah, I burn through one a year, so I get that every year for my birthday.
Only one? Do you
Yeah.
tend to favor one foot over the other?
Oh, you mean a pair?
Well,
You get the pair, I think.
Yes. And I'll tell you, in Sweden, in an old farmhouse, I might go through a couple pair this winter. It's a bit chilly.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
going to
wow.
get colder.
Yeah.
And
Good.
now that you have all of 4 hours of sunlight a day, it'll be even
Yeah.
more happy to have those.
Yeah, I will tell you one thing, and can I get an amen from the Northern Europeans?
Yeah.
You start to worship the sun in a way you did not even know was possible.
Really, I've heard this, and like you were
Yeah.
telling Mom that there's like candles in bathrooms in high schools, and just like
Oh, yeah, everything is. I mean, it is amazing how kids are so used to flame because they use candles. They call them warmth, like light and warmth. It's like the same word.
oh weird.
So it's really a big deal to have light. So right now, they celebrate the Advent before Christmas. So every Sunday, the 4 Sundays before Christmas, they're big deals. And then everyone has candle holders that have 4 candles. You light one once a week.
Do the
and
candles
then
work?
everyone-
Like, do you feel like the candles make up for the lack of sun, or is there?
Yeah, it's amazing. Okay, when you go to IKEA
Yeah.
and they have just like 500 little small white candles in a package,
Yeah.
and you're like, why would I buy that? Would I buy that to like candle up my room one night for Kim? That's it. That's the only thing you would use those for, right?
Yeah.
And honestly, there's a reason IKEA sells those is because they're everywhere, and you buy them and you light your whole house up all the time.
Huh.
And it's just it's like creating coziness and that happens, right? But when you have more sunlight, you don't necessarily have the same craving for coziness as you do when it's so dark and cold.
That's a good point.
So it really is effective. And my kids are getting all of them can start fires now. All of them can light candles. All of them don't. Pete's still a little bit of a struggle with flame, but it's not bad.
Yeah, I wouldn't
they've
trust
just
Pete
gotten
running
used to it.
around like a little torch. I think that'd be scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone
Yeah.
batten down the hatches. Well, I'm glad I'm glad things are going well as we lead into the long winter months
Yes.
of hardly any sunlight. Well, it's Wendy. She's back. She is a therapist. She helps real people with real problems. She comes on this show and does the very same, and it's always a pleasure. So let's get started with a question. We got one from a listener named. It says we can use their name, so I'm going to use it. It's Tatiana, or Tia for short. Says, "Hi, Wendy. I want some advice. I would also like Scott and Brian's input." In parentheses. Sure you do. It says this about how to better contain anger. I'm easily susceptible to anger, and I get this way from my father. To be honest, this is who I am and was brought up to be, but it's extremely difficult for me to break the habit. I do plan on being a parent real soon, and I don't want ever want them to be scared of me like I was scared of my father. I do know that communication and trust are key, but sometimes bad habits end up coming back, and I end up hurting those I love for no reason, only to apologize for it later. My fiance has been so supportive and is nowhere near like my family, and I pick up some of his positivity. But again, the anger from the past gets so overwhelming. What can I do to permanently better my behavior after 22 years of family life? And then there's some notes here. Note number 1, my father is very aggressive, never once physical, but always verbal. Number 2, brought up in somewhat poor environment in my early years, but always happy. I don't know what that means. Probably means like they
Like happy but poor.
Okay,
Yeah,
poor.
they were yeah.
When I hear poor environment, I always think,
like a moneyless environment.
Yeah.
She means less. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. High school was the worst time. Well, isn't it always? Well, let's see. Second to last note, owned his own business but didn't do well. Huh. I feel like I can relate
So
to
that
some of
was during high school.
Yeah.
He was struggling financially, so his anger stuff was probably the worst then.
Yeah.
And I'm going to probably throw in, she was probably not the easiest.
Probably
either.
is my guess. And then final note is my father is similar to my grandmother, who is very independent and somewhat of a heavy feminist. Now, I assume that means like heavy-handed feminist, not a big fat feminist.
No, just a super fat feminist.
All right. Thank you guys very much, and keep up the goods, says Tia. Okay. I feel like this is a good one because, there are people who struggle with anger who don't even know they're doing it and just affect everyone around them with their anger. This is somebody who recognizes it. So I feel like they're already like 9 miles up the road to a better them. But where do you take them now, knowing that they're at least willing to admit, yeah, I've got anger issues and I think I know the source, but what do I do now?
Right. So she's recognizing an important thing, which is her environment sort of taught her how managing emotions looks, right? So dad was frustrated or stressed out or something occurred and he was angry and he was verbally explosive or, abusive even. And that's sort of the template she got, which was, and apparently grandma, the fat feminist, also did this, which was like, I'm feeling these things and how I handle it or manage it is, yelling, right?
Yeah.
Screaming, whatever the behavior is. So as much as we, you think, okay, well, I'm not going to do that. There's sort of a scenario that kind of gets imprinted and it's not permanent, but it's like the most common reaction you're going to have if you don't train it otherwise, right? So this is what's so interesting when couples get together. They both were raised in homes usually very different. And it sounds like in this case, she has this example where he's really different. He probably is very even-tempered, calm. His family talked it through. Maybe they sang some songs, like he had such a different thing. That's partly why she's attracted to him. And then in her family, it was probably, yell it out, move on, whatever that dynamic. Well, I see this all the time. Couples will get together with very different backgrounds, and then they'll be confused why the other person can't seem to now act the way they want them to act, when really they're sort of attracted to the opposite of what they probably had. And this is where it gets in trouble. It's cute while you're engaged, but when you're married and you're sort of living your life, suddenly, and especially if, when kids come along, his standard response is going to be the even-keeled, natural thing he learned at home, and hers is going to be more fiery, right? So she clearly doesn't want to do that. She doesn't want to become to the level her dad was, because she didn't like being scared of him. So she has to think in terms, and it sounds like she thinks in terms of, how do I improve my baseline? Because my baseline is going to tend towards a temper and flare-ups, right? So she thinks that she has it under control now. At least that's the kind of impression you get. But she's like, okay, we're gonna have kids. I don't want this to happen. And I will tell you what, I never yelled at a human being until I had children. Like, never, ever. I can't even recall being angry in my lifetime until I had children. So all I'm saying, Tia, is that you gotta lock it down, because it's coming.
Because it's already a thing that even the most peaceful among us they're going to have an experience that will take them to anger places they hadn't previously been, and so she's already got a tendency toward that.
If children will take a 3 to a 9, what will they do to someone who's already at a 7?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So here's the answer, and it's really it's simpler than she thinks. And it's not at the same time, right? Before those children come along and push you to the 9, when you're at a 3, because they will, and there's a reason. If you diagnose why having a child could, in certain circumstances, push you past limits you've never been past before, it's because of resources being depleted. And this is true for all anger, but specifically, if you think about, you got a toddler who won't sleep and is like getting into the honey and the, I don't know, cornstarch and mixing them on the floor. It could be anything. But all of a sudden your resources are low because you're sleeping less, or you're juggling more. Maybe you're fighting off mommy guilt because you spend too much time at work or too much time on the computer or whatever. And the kid's behaving badly and your resources are thin and you got a deadline and yada, yada. It all piles up and your resources are depleted. So your old skill set really shines through, right? That's when freaking out, screaming, you have learned as a child, and probably your own experience, that it's very relieving to scream, at least in the immediate moment, right? There's a reason your dad and grandma were yelling. For those who restrain themselves, they don't get the same satisfaction. I mean, that's probably the wrong way to talk about it, but there is something very cathartic about letting it all out. Now, then you got to pay for the consequences of that. And I can guarantee her dad felt bad many times for what he did and said, and wished he could control it.
Sure.
But those who keep it in and somehow deal with it in a different way, they have another set of skills that they're applying. So she has to see this as, I have to build up my skill set. I have to figure out what triggers me, how to make sure I have my resources in a row, and my sleep, or whatever those things may be. Generally, really what she should do right now is look at what triggers her anger now, and to get really into it. Like, it's not just I'm hungry, I'm tired, I haven't slept enough, or I have a deadline. Sometimes it can just be those things you need to be aware of. If there's more to it than that, that's also really important, because if you manage those other things, you get enough sleep, you eat well, you are not stressed out, then maybe your anger doesn't flare up at all, and then you say, oh, okay, well, I'm good.
Yeah.
And then you need to manage that resource depletion. But if there's other things going on, like you wait and wait and wait and wait until you say what you really feel, think, or need, and it comes out screaming, then there's a communication problem, right? A fear of maybe being intimate with someone, sharing a vulnerability, so you hold it in. Or maybe it's awkward, like you really need to put the toilet seat down, but you don't say it because a good wife doesn't say that.
Yeah.
And then it builds and builds and builds till your resources depleted, the toilet seat's up, you fall in, then you're mad,
Does that happen, by the way? Can you, from a lady perspective, can you explain that to me? Like when the seat is up and a dude forgot to put it down, and you're not, and the lady goes in, not really paying attention, goes to sit. Is it that big of a deal?
Is it that big of a deal for your butt to go into ice cold water when?
Does it go that low? I mean,
at 6 a.m. Yeah.
Is that how it works? I mean, you literally don't. Okay, all right.
Yeah,
it's really the problem that women don't turn on the light like men do. Men turn on the light. That's really what it comes down to.
Women. Yeah. Let's blame the victim for a minute here.
Blame the victim.
If we just paid attention,
Yeah.
But we don't.
Toilet shaming.
Yeah.
Do you know what some of it is? Is your brain is so used to just seeing a toilet, you don't actually register if the lid is up or not, because it doesn't look that different unless you really like. So if you're half paying attention, it happens. So ladies, pay more attention. Dudes, just put the seat down. Honestly.
Yeah.
You know what, Scott? You could do.
What?
Put the lid up and try it.
I should try that.
Yeah, because you have to sit sometimes too, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
but then I think, ew, gross. I must have peed there before. I'm not going to go. I'm not, like I.
Can I add an amen to that? It's so bad. I have 4 boys in my house.
Yeah.
I have sat on so much pee accidentally. I can't even tell you.
Well, we all stand and deliver. That's how we roll as men.
Stand and don't deliver well is
Yeah.
what the boys in my house do.
Yeah.
Anyway,
sorry.
Okay, back to Tia.
Back to Tia.
Back to Tia. So here's what I would recommend she do right now while she can get a full night's sleep, because this is when most people address their anger problem when they're really, really, really angry.
Yeah.
And so it's harder. Before that happens, I think she could, there's anger management classes she could take. There's like an anger management workbook you can find on Amazon for $10. Go through just some pretty simple self-help kinds of anger management stuff and see if she doesn't get any insight into some of her triggers. It's not just dad. Yes, dad taught you a way of managing emotions, but and there's also, you actually absorb all that yelling and anger, and then some of that anger is still there, right? So maybe you got to process through some of that. So there's some work to be done pre-children that she'll be so thrilled she did before her kids came along, because she'll need those skills and you won't have time to gain them when you're frustrated and you're, have a new baby, doing whatever.
Sure.
So there's that. Then there's one other thing that is, I think, really important for her to think about. And that is when we're angry. I don't know if you guys have ever been angry in your lives, because you seem like such sweet guys.
Oh, we're
but
so calm and normal all the time. We never get mad. No, when I do, I've told you, I think I've even said it on this segment before, but because I am very infrequently angry, like outwardly angry.
Yeah.
And when I do, the kids think Satan Von Devilman is in the house. Like I am really scary, I guess. That's what I've been told.
Yeah.
Is that it's really scary. And I think it's because of the lack of anger. Because when Kim gets all worked up, they don't see the same.
They don't even pay attention.
Yeah, it's not as scary to them. It drives her crazy. She goes, I hate it. They don't even care if I'm mad. But when you get mad, the whole house changes. I'm like, well, it's because I don't do it very often. And, we've had these conversations. But they really are, like, terrified of me. And they also tell me this. This is the weird thing, and I'm not trying to derail the conversation, but Nick had a bunch of friends over, and I cannot get these boys to, like, look at me in the face. Like, I just want them to be, hey, if you can look at me and talk to me and have a conversation, then you're a cool kid and you're welcome here anytime. And there's some trust there and all that. But some of these kids cannot seem to pull it off. And Nick said, they all are terrified of you, Dad. And I said, why? He goes, I don't know. They just are really intimidated. You're tall and you're scary. Like, I'm tall and I'm scary. I don't feel
Tell
like
him just to punch you in the gut, and that'll knock you out.
Well, it totally would. Punch me right in the lower abdomen, and I'll be out for the day. But that's the truth. Like, I don't feel scary or angry or any of those things. But he says that there's something about me that seems formidable, unless not his word. He's not quite to the educational level to use the word formidable yet. But
formidable.
One day we're hoping. But no.
Well, maybe if they knew that it was, if he told them, you know what, it's really important that you look my dad in the eye, because he doesn't trust you otherwise.
Yeah.
And they're scared enough of you that maybe they'll do it.
Maybe they poor kids. And that's the thing, is I don't need them to necessarily. I just really appreciate a confident kid who's being himself and doesn't look like he's hiding 20 things. And I like
There's
that.
something about that.
I respect that. And Taylor was the same with Taylor's friends. I always really liked the kids who could sit down and go, oh yeah, that's a cool movie. I didn't know you had a poster of that. They can sit and talk to me like a human being and not feel like they're terrified or they're hiding something. I hate that feeling.
Mr. Johnson.
Yeah.
And they don't. Yeah.
Yeah. They all want me to be, I don't want to be that thing, that intimidating guy thing, but apparently I have that. And I guess maybe we all do. Like Brian would scare the hell out of me if I was a kid and I didn't know him.
No way. He's
I think
the
so.
smiliest, happiest.
Yeah,
no
but
way.
I mean, if I wasn't smiling, you didn't know me. I'm a huge, intimidating.
You're a big
fella.
guy, big, scary, bald man.
Big.
if you had your bitchy resting face on and you were yelling, "Get off my lawn!"
Yeah,
that's right.
Right.
That's exactly right.
Like I have a bitchy resting face. My
do.
natural expression is Smiley Joe.
You're pretty
Yeah,
chill
totally.
face. Kim has a pretty chill face. Me and my daughter Taylor look like we are so mad when we're resting.
Yeah, what? It's weird.
And maybe
Like, why
that's
do you
why
hate
these
me?
kids, that must be why these kids are afraid of me, is
Yeah.
they'll see that and just go, oh, well, he's mad. But I'm so rarely mad. It's just
Right.
very rare. So when it does happen, you must have done something terrible, because then I'm all pissed. So, but in her case, we're talking about somebody who's quick to that, not slow to that.
Yes.
Or
Well, and think of the ramifications. So because you're slow to anger and you do it really infrequently, it's very effective, and your kids are not translating that into I'm bad. They're translating into, dang, I did something super stupid, or dad wouldn't be mad. But when it's frequent, the translation for kids is typically I'm bad. I get in trouble so much. It's me. I'm broken. I'm damaged.
Yeah.
And that's where the responsibility of the adult is to deal with their stuff, because that stuff gets spewed everywhere else, right? And so she has stuff from being a child of someone with stuff, and so she's got to figure out how to keep that managed. And there's this point that I think is really important. I was about to say before, is to gain some insight into your physiological responses. So often we are really disconnected to our internal cues, and it's the combination of, I'm in my head, I'm thinking of all the things, these stories, the sentences that ultimately make me furious. So it's like throwing fuel on the fire while I'm coming up with all the stuff that's making me so angry. So now I'm combining my feeling of anger and these thoughts, and I'm very rarely aware of my heart racing, my hands are sweaty, my fists are clenched, my teeth are clenched, my eyes twitching, whatever physiological things are happening. We tend to be pretty disconnected from that. Guess what everyone else gets to see? Your eye twitching, your fist clenched, everyone's looking at you and you look scary. So for someone who is frequently getting into this anger state, something very important to do is have somebody who's qualified or helpful kind of help you walk through this idea of what is step one.
Yeah.
What is the first thing you think? Okay, then how does your heart feel? How do your feet feel? How do you get in touch with what your body does as it builds up anger? And the reason this is important is that we always say you have to intervene when you're getting angry. You got to call time out. You got to take a break. All those things work. The problem is if you're self-regulating when the intervention comes, you have to know step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, and know that if it's past 4, you're going to do serious damage and you need to run outside. But at step 3, you can take a deep breath, or step 2, you can say, we need to talk about this later, because ultimately habits of anger and verbal abuse comes from feeling out of control, right? And so you are physiologically out of control before you're probably emotionally out of control. So it's this nice warning bell, but you have to be able to pay attention to it. So to get in touch with that would be really helpful. I'm going to tell her
all that mindfulness stuff helps with this, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, because it puts
I'm
you in
going
the
to tell
moment.
her to go to yoga, because yoga will train her brain to get in her body better than anything I've seen work for that. As you're processing, okay, because you're bouncing on one leg and your leg's cramping and your ankle hurts and you think I'm going to fall, and the teacher is telling you to breathe and telling you to pay attention to the way this feels, and so you are being directed for that hour how to get your mind's eye to focus on certain parts of your body. Yeah. We don't do that in any other context that I know of.
Right.
But it's really powerful to get that practice. And then you apply that to when I'm angry or when I'm sad. So many of us disconnect from what our bodies teach us or tell us or feel because we're filling it with food to stop feeling, or we're abusing it in some form, or we're ignoring it. Anyway, but anger has a lot of cues and way before the outburst. So we think people just drop of the hat are angry. No, there's lots of hints beforehand. So that's a valuable thing to take a look at too.
And somebody once told me that the only true choice we have in this entire life is the choice of how we react to anything. So I can't remember what the context was, but it was the story. Who's the famous Auschwitz survivor
Oh yeah,
wrote the books.
Meaning of Life guy.
Yeah, that guy's super interesting. But it kind of comes from his experience. He was in this situation that he had no control over. He was put into this prison camp without his willingness. He was forced to do terrible things and eat awfully and live in conditions that are subhuman, and all of these things completely outside of his control. And he realized in the midst of that he did have one piece of control left, which is how will he react to what's happening, or even specific things like if he sees somebody who is sicker or hungrier than he is, he can give half his ration to that person. And that's a choice he can make, and that is 100% his. Like nobody could take that away from him. If he is being beaten, his decision to sort of shell up and take it and survive another day was his decision and not anyone else's. And it was really kind of eye-opening for me to think about what that means. Like your reaction and your ability to assess a situation and make a choice. And that choice may either be, maybe it's the choice of I'm going to steal that guy's bread, or that's a choice between that, or I'm going to give part of my bread to that guy who needs it more. Mm-hmm. There's your choice, and you get to make it, and nobody can take that away from you. And so you can still be this moral person, conscious of other people and other circumstances in terrible situations that you don't have any control over. And I'm not doing it any justice, but it's a really cool concept, and it seems like you could apply some of that thinking here because you're in situations of what feels like out of your control. I don't know, a kid has pushed a bucket of something on the floor and made a giant mess, or in Carter's case, she's eating a giant block of cooking chocolate and hiding in the dog's kennel. Mm-hmm. And what choice do you make? Do you decide to be very angry and throw a fit and ban them from the kitchen and create all kinds of havoc? Or do you just stop for a second, give it just even a moment of time to think about what you
have to
could
breathe.
do?
Think about when you burst into anger, you haven't breathed yet.
Yeah.
You have to breathe at least once or twice, right?
Sure.
There's also a thing that happened with that chocolate is I was in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
So you had an audience.
Yeah.
And when you have an audience, you tend to behave better.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, sure.
I agree.
And so she should have an audience a lot. Just invite lots of strangers to watch her parents. That'll help.
Keep them there all the time. Maybe that's why all those kids are over there with the those kids who can't look you in the eye.
I just remember, like, for example, a time, I don't want to use names, but there was a bunch of the little girls, like the cousins, when they were all little.
Yeah.
And one of them had said something sex. Okay, and they were maybe like, I don't know, 5.
Yeah.
And somebody says the word sex, and they didn't really know what they were talking about. They just heard it. And they all knew it was lascivious, or, kind of, ooh, I think that word's kind of forbidden or whatever, but they don't know. They don't know a thing about it. And one adult came in and goes, "You will not use that word," and completely freaked out on the kids and made them all terrified.
Oh, God.
Of not only the person, but of the word and what it could mean. And I remember at the time going,
and now they're all nuns.
And I remember at the time, I kind of went, oh, we probably should have said, oh, where'd you hear that word? And let's talk about it. Do you know what it means? And, there's a real opportunity there. And I think it's because we're not taking that breath to make that decision. That's all it takes. But it's so hard to remember the damn breath.
Well, yes. And that's because you're super disconnected from your body. So let me talk a little bit about the concentration camp to make a choice.
Yeah.
That is inspiring, and it's like, wow, that's so cool. But then what do we say for the mindset of all of those who didn't do that, who couldn't see beyond their own starvation to share their bread with someone else? Are they terrible people? Are they somehow morally inept? Are they unable to make that choice? And I would argue that there comes not that then that guy is special, let's be honest. First of all, he's extremely educated and has changed a lot of lives. He was a psychologist who was well trained in understanding the human mind, all that. So he had a major advantage to ever come up with that idea.
Right.
But also then the huge benefit of the consequence of that action. I mean, he primed his brain. In fact, I was just listening to a neuroscientist talking about compassion and self-compassion, and what happens when we feel compassion for anyone else. So we see someone suffering. Compassion by definition is just not wanting someone else to suffer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not any form of life, not wanting it to suffer. That's compassion. And what happens in the brain chemically is so intriguing. So while you're experiencing the feeling of compassion, you are warming up all of the synapses and the areas of the brain that are associated with action. So you want to do something. You literally physiologically have a urge to do something. It's not just in your head. Your body is going, what are we going to do now? Let's do something.
Yeah.
So his ability to stop and feel compassion for others and not self-pity just for himself is a state of mind that's pretty impressive in those circumstances. But most of us are not in concentration camps, and we can sort of cultivate that compassion. And at the same time, what's really valuable, and this is probably a whole nother segment, but is about self-compassion, turning that feeling of not wanting someone else to suffer towards yourself and having compassion for the things you've been through. And this applies to Tia in the sense of she grew up not always feeling fully accepted and loved because of her father's anger. Can she feel compassion for herself for that? And can she extend compassion to him when she doesn't necessarily have to forgive him or say it's okay, but just compassion for someone who was in enough pain that they would then hurt others with their words,
Right.
And I think that might be some important stuff to do towards healing for her, because anger has a source. It isn't as simple as choose to be angry or not, because you have so many things that have led up to that sort of choice being taken. In fact, I worked with when I worked with sex offenders for a long time, a lot of them had anger management issues. And they would describe this thing you hear about in the movies, right? Which is they saw red. When they say you're so angry, you see red. Literally.
Dude, physically see red.
Physically see red. They have tunnel vision. We know this is, now that we can scan their brains and figure things out, we know that tunnel vision is very real in that setting.
Yeah.
And that the hyperpigmentation can be red. So they're literally seeing red, and nothing else gets in. At that point, you don't have a choice. At that point, you're beyond, like, I'm going to make a choice here, because you have shut down that part of your brain, and the very primal save me part of your brain, that is your reptilian, very old brain, is going to save you. And it's maybe going to do it by yelling at someone or throwing something. And it doesn't make any sense, but in the moment, that's the survival technique it only knows how to use. So your choice is many steps before that. So that's what we always had to work on with them, is that your choice is gone by the time you're seeing red. But the choice next to that's really hard. 3 choices up from that's a little easier to intervene, and on and on. And so you have to get to a place where you're really aware very early of your cycle with anger. You've identified what triggers you. You've identified the things to help and get support. You have to treat it a little bit like you're an addict, like what triggers my next hit, because anger has an addictive quality to it, in that no one likes it after the fact, but during the fact, it's
like a
pretty powerful experience.
Dopamine rush kind of thing.
Yeah. And it's very survivalistic. It's very old. And so, it's not something you can just guilt yourself to stop doing or wish you could do something different. You really need to look at what leads up to it and then intervene earlier.
Well, yeah, again, I think I don't want to understate the fact, and we talked about this a lot, but when somebody is seeing the problem enough to bring it up in the email and then email us about it seems like a really positive move. And, that you at least recognize what's going on and that you're catching yourself doing it, and maybe those breaths are coming to her easier than she thinks.
Yeah.
And, sometimes you don't know until you're in the thick of it, right? Like you don't actually know if it's going to, you think you're bad at it, or you think your anger issues are huge, but faced with the actual issue, you may be so mindful of your anger issues that it isn't as bad as you think, that you are catching yourself.
And that's why involving her fiance in this work on herself is important, because there will come a day where he'll be like, honey, and you'll be so mad that he's interrupting your anger move. So you need to be on the same team, and sort of how do you help me handle this without it being patronizing, right? Without it being, you're the one with the problem, because there's going to be things that will trigger her parenting that would never trigger him if he's Mr. Calm. And so, kind of how to manage that and do it as a team. so that it doesn't tear them apart, because
Right.
the last thing anyone wants to see is someone else yelling at their child.
Yeah.
And that includes the mother or the father of that child,
Sure.
So, and I don't know, she didn't mention her mom, if she's alive or if she was there during all of that, but it would be interesting for her to talk to her and really get sort of an honest assessment of what it's like to be the partner of someone doing that, to sort of crack it open and just be so open about this. Like, I have this problem. Hi, my name is Tia. I am an angeraholic,
It's the whole lean into it thing you're always talking about.
Yeah, lean into it. Yeah. What do I need to know to that's what takes its power away. That's what makes it less. So if you think about generationally, how amazing it is that a 22-year-old isn't just like, screw this, I'm going to live my life, and would never think, I'm going to deal with my anger problems.
Yeah.
I mean, that's such a this century kind of thing to be doing, which is cool. But not to be sort of overwhelmed with anxiety about it, but to deal with it. And leaning in is a good way to think about it.
Yeah. Well, best of luck. Let us know how it goes. And Wendy, it's good to have you back on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I am.
And you sound awesome. Like Skype was your friend today.
Yeah, totally.
Skype was not my friend 2 weeks ago.
No.
That was bad.
That was bad. I think we can say with some assurity that at least the part of Sweden you're in, the outdoor connectivity is poop.
Yeah,
And,
that was weird. I'll tell you what we were doing. That was pretty cool.
Uh-oh.
I get going on.
Go ahead.
So.
Dang it, I drew attention to
right
Skype.
after he said it. Yeah, that's funny. You're fine though.
Skype's like, lock that one down.
Yeah.
Oh, we're working in this one. Quick, shut it down.
Anyway, so there are no poor children in Sweden. I don't know if you guys are aware of this.
There are no what?
Poor children in Sweden.
None of them?
I thought you said porch children. Okay.
Yeah,
porch children?
Porch children.
What the heck is
Those
that?
children living on porches. No, poor children. If you are in Scandinavia and you are homeless, it is a choice. Like, speaking of choices, there's just enough social security system here that,
right.
No one has to. And it's not like people aren't poorer than others, but,
right.
There's no starving children, basically. So it's so interesting because I've asked around, like, what kinds of things can we do at Christmas time? And what's the,
You're trying to do all your normal charity Christmas time stuff, sure.
I'm like, I need some poor kids for Christmas to feel right, And they don't have them. So we send
there's got to be charities for like sun deprivation or something, right?
Honestly, vitamin D supplements we need desperately.
Yeah.
No, so they do all their charity. It's interesting. Like, essentially, Sweden has just adopted Africa in all ways. So we did big that night while I was running around. I was helping someone buy all the supplies, and we were putting together packages for kids in Africa because you always got poor kids there, right?
Yeah, well, that's that was what we were always told as kids. Well, actually, it was China for a while. Then it was let's see, it was China. What was it when we were growing up? I guess it was mostly China, but
Ethiopia.
I heard
Ethiopia was the food thing. Like if you didn't eat your dinner.
And for us, it was a lot of Korean because at the time Korea wasn't doing, it wasn't Samsung freaking killing, owning the world or all that stuff. It was a much poorer country and they had a kind of an orphan problem. And there were a lot of adoptions here in the U.S. And we were, we have 3 of them. So for us, it was always, now eat all that because, there are kids in Korea that can't. And I'm like, well, in my mind, I used to think, well, that's because it's here, Mom. Like I was
send this to them.
I was very practical about it. Like, well, it's because the rice is in front of me.
Macaroni casserole.
Yeah, and there was so much rice
they won't
growing
eat
up.
it.
But anyway, it seems
salad.
like it switches around. Like I'll bet you, Africa's I think headed towards some interesting growth, and because it's the final country, it's the only country left that hasn't become our big factory nation. Japan did it and then grew out of it. Taiwan did it, grew out of it. China's in it but growing out of it. It's time to move it to Africa, have that explode economically, and then all of our poop will be made in South America, and it will be mothers will be saying, now you eat all your food those kids in Guatemala can't afford it, eat like you can. It's just the way it works. Anyway, real quick before you go. Do you have a thing?
That's so stupid. Oh, yeah. Let me look it up.
All right. It's our, what do we call these? I don't even know what we call these. They're fart bumps or whatever. Do we have a name?
Hinders.
Fart hinders.
Fart hinder. You have no brain, dude.
I know.
You
It's
cannot
left
remember.
at the door.
Okay. All right. This is another naughty word, but it's not spelled naughty. It's pronounced naughty.
All right.
So the word is F-A-C-K. And I can't. I'm not going to say
She
it.
can't
'cause
do
I
it.
can't.
Yeah.
I can't do it. But when a Swede is on a roll, they don't hear it at all. They will say the F word here as a swear word all the time.
Yeah, of
But
course.
they don't hear this. And what it means is it's basically like labeling or categorizing something. So they have a word with this in it that means you can't pigeonhole someone or you can't categorize them.
Yeah.
But it has the F word in the middle of it, which makes me laugh.
That's great.
So at IKEA, they might fact that dresser and fact that couch, and then
Yes. If
fact
you go to
those
IKEA,
candles.
at the end where there's all the boxes where you pick up the stuff,
Yeah.
it'll say fact every other second to show you where to get something.
This
But
is the
it's not
fact zone.
pronounced fact.
No.
I will
Yeah.
just say that.
It's
It's
just-
not fully either, but it's the Swedish way of putting it. But it makes them laugh when I point it out because they're like, "Oh yeah, it does," but they don't hear it on their own.
Well, so your kids are learning very quickly, being fluent in Swedish. Are they having to use that word as part of their curriculum?
No, they're not quite that advanced. But I'll tell you, every kid in Sweden swears in English. So there's no like, what's the Swedish swear word? Maybe there's a few. I haven't figured them out yet. But every kid swears in English. So my kids are very aware of the swear word.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, there you have
We're
it.
going to go to IKEA this weekend and buy a facking headboard.
Yeah, right? It's a good idea. Wendy, stay out of trouble. Have fun. And thanks for hanging out. We'll do this again next week.
Okay.
All righty.
Sounds good.
Bye
All
now.
right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You're not going to have to explicit tag this, are you?
No. I think this facking episode will be facking fine. Let's do a couple
Send
of these.
and receive email.
All right, let's do a couple emails. We got one from Tim. He says, "Howdy, Scott and Brian. On Monday's show, you asked how many 15 to 20-year-olds know who Judy Garland or Humphrey Bogart were. I teach at a university, and I can tell you that not many do. But I was wondering, when we were 20, did we know who they were? I'd like to think so, but I'm not sure," says Tim.
I really wanted to know. Yes, I knew who Judy Garland and Humphrey Bogart were. I grew up on The Wizard of Oz. And,
Judy Garland easier for me. Bogart not so much, but I knew the names. I just didn't know why
and
they
I
were.
could tell you it was Casablanca and it was play it again, Sam, and all that stuff.
I feel like
I
learned-
didn't see the movie until I was in my 20s, but
I feel like I learned most of my classic Hollywood stuff from cartoons. Like Looney Tunes would make references to Edward G. Robinson or to Bing Crosby all the time. They'd have him on there going boo, 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 or whatever, and it'd be a character in an old Looney Tunes. And I remember watching those every Saturday and thinking, oh, these are all things my grandparents are into, and I became kind of connected to them in a parallel way. But I didn't. It's not like I knew them in the way I know Harrison Ford, whereas he is an important part of my film life.
yeah.
And I think that's the difference.
And as much as we love James Franco and Seth Rogen and Adam Sandler and Kevin James and all those people now, they're probably going to be the Fatty Arbuckles of 50 years from now.
Yes, with the exception of hopefully there's no horrible sex scandal surrounding each of them. But
oh God, yeah, maybe that was a bad example.
yeah, but it's a good
Seth Rogen sex scandal.
Yeah, I don't know. So Mike on Iceworm on Twitter said, well, wouldn't we freak out in America if somebody made a movie in North Korea about assassinating the president? I don't think we'd care. They might make a big deal on 24-hour news networks because they got to fill airtime, but I don't think we'd give two rats butts, let alone do a cyber attack on their film company. Mm-hmm. So, no. The answer is no, Mike. Next one is, I didn't get his name. It just says Don't bros the bros, bro.
Okay.
Anyway, it says, hey, Stillwater and Bayport, I've been pretty sick recently, and as a result, some restless sleep. So I've been using Podcast's sleep timer to keep me focused on something else so I can drift off. It's always weird to me that you'll listen to one of our podcasts to fall asleep. I think that's bad for us. Mm-hmm. But anyway, when then rewind in the morning to catch up on anything I missed. Well, okay, then that's fine. Shortly after I drift off, you did emails yesterday and I was awoken to a Swedish college student screaming. I sat bolt upright in terror, then had a good laugh. Don't bros the
There's
bros.
that audio of the
Yeah, that guy yelling and the whole neighborhood yelling. It is kind of creepy if you don't have context for that. Because it sounds weird. Like when he yells
really
and then they all go.
It sounds like a horror movie. It's
yeah, weird.
Out of context. It's really, really weird.
Those are your emails, and those came to us at themorningstream@gmail.com. If you would like to join us again today for a second episode, our 5th of the week, you can join us for TMS PM tonight at 5:30 p.m. Mountain Time. We'll do it live here at the same exact place, or it'll also be right up on the feed either tonight or in the morning as well. And we do that because you guys supported us on Patreon to the degree that we unlocked that, and now it's a thing we do on the regular. That's at patreon.com/TMS, patreon.com/TMS. Give a little, give a lot, give whatever you can, and it helps us keep this show rolling.
Yep. Yeah, and I'm getting kind of disheartened. I'm thinking the trivia thing may not...
We'll get there. I feel like, yeah, I mean, you get to a certain point where things slow, right? So, I don't know. What I would recommend people do is, I mean, just think about it this way. You're already willing to spend, let's say, $7 a month for Netflix, maybe $80 a month for your cable subscription. If you listen to this show, especially this one on the network, and it's just so many hours of entertainment that you're getting just totally for free, all we're saying is head over there and do like a buck. Like a buck.
Mm-hmm.
Like if everybody did $1, we could unlock the world. The
That's
things
right.
we could do. Oh my
We would
gosh.
give you the world.
I mean, basically TMS would become our full-time jobs. I'm not afraid to say that.
Yeah, no, and I'd be fine with that.
Yeah, I'd be totally fine with that. And we would do some amazing stuff. So anyway, do check it out. Patreon.com/TMS and see if it's for you. Frogpants.com/TMS is our website. On Twitter, find us at Morningstream, at Scott Johnson, at Coverville, and get your questions in for tonight's show. The hashtag on Twitter is Ask TMS. That's hashtag Ask TMS.
Pound sign.
Pound
Ask
sign.
TMS.
That's right.
Tic-tac-toe board.
50 Cent knows how it works.
And the Snoopy Poopy Poop Dog.
That guy's the epitome of that.
Yes.
We'll do that tonight, and we'll answer your questions. I think we're also going to have Dan, the board game man, will be on.
Cool.
Talking about maybe some holiday recommendations for what's going on in board games, and I think that's it.
It's going to be all today's show up in here. Yeah. So later on the show, we're going to have Dan come in to tell us what board games are really popular for the holidays.
That's right. It's 4 minutes past the hour, and now in the news this morning.
And the Hoda copy is already sauced.
Someone's going to come cook. I'm going to make love to my tater.
That's right. How to decorate your house for the holidays.
That's right. We've got fresh out of prison. What's her name? Can't think of her name. Who's the crap? Who's
Kathy
the lady?
Lee Gifford?
No, who's the one? Was she in prison?
I don't know.
Who's the one that went to prison? That's a housemaker lady.
Yeah.
Martha Stewart.
Martha Stewart.
We're going to have recent convict Martha Stewart come on out here and tell us how to make a shiv out of a common pen. Okay, Bill.
By the way, we decorated our tree last night. We had to let it sit for a day to let the branches kind of come down.
Sure.
And boy, I've got a lot of really nerdy ornaments. Because every year I go and get whatever Hallmark, Star Wars, or superhero thing there is.
Mm-hmm.
My tree is literally covered with
nerd ornaments.
The original trilogy. It really is.
I love that. That's awesome. I have some Blizzard ones. I have some video gaming ones. We have some Marvel stuff.
Blizzard made ornaments?
Yeah, they did. Not for very long, but they sent us a bunch for Nerdtacular, and we were like, well, these are just going to break. Like, I'm not going to take these up to snowbirds. So
throw them. Yeah, you got to toss them out to the audience.
Yeah, exactly. So we just put them on the tree, and
nice.
They look great. There's a Warcraft one, I think, and a Diablo one. They're really cool.
Wow.
Anyway,
all right.
Brian, let's now leave. And before we do, Brian brings with him a little bag. It's like a little bum bag, or we'd say in the States, a
fanny pack?
Fanny pack, which I guess is really offensive in Europe because that means vagina pack. Anyway, what do you people think?
In other words, I'm pulling music out of my ass, people.
Yeah. So
this one's
what do
going
you
out
got?
to Dave.
Oh, good. Dave. Wait, who? Dave, do we know him?
I don't know. All it says is Dave.
All right, fine.
So it's a Dave that's turning 42. He says, hey, Slarty Bardfast and Beeblebrox.
All right.
Nice reference there. On December 4th, I turned the ripe old age of 42, which means I'm now the answer to life, the universe, and everything. I would like to request a song relating to Douglas Adams in some way, but I don't know of any, or at least any good ones. I think I remember a song I heard on Dr. Demento about Marvin the Paranoid Android, but I don't remember it being any good. Yeah, I actually have that song. It's called Marvin, I Love You.
It's not very good.
It's okay. It's not a cover, first of all, but it's not a great recording. You'd remember this thing from Dr. Demento too, is a woman's voice going, Marvin, I love you. And it's actually got the guy who did the voice of Marvin for the radio series.
Weird. Okay.
I'll save that for some time. We'll play it on the show here.
All right.
So he says, if Brian, in his infinite cover wisdom, can find one, that would be great. Otherwise, I'd like to slide right over into my other favorite space fantasy and request a metal cover of the Cantina Band theme from Star Wars. I don't know who does it, but hopefully you can find it. So long, and thanks for all the fish, though. Signed, Dave.
Nice.
So I think the one that he might be referring to is the one by E-Rocks, which is a guy you can find on YouTube. I think it's E-Rocks. Dude looks like a shredder, man. He is a crazy looking metal dude, and he plays some amazing guitar. And he's really easy to find, so I'm not going to play his version on here because I'm going to play something different that I think people, I think he's going to like because it's metal-esque, and I think other people who maybe aren't big fans of metal are going to like it as well. So
nice.
I'm
Bad Company by those one dudes. It's like
right,
a nice
Five Finger Death Punch.
Yeah,
it
nice
kind of crosses
mix.
that bridge between everything.
Yeah, well, it's their best song too because I don't like how hard they get otherwise. So yeah,
That's
it sounds like that kind of song. That's good.
And for the record, I could have played a cover of Paranoid Android by Radiohead. I actually had a few I was looking at, but because that is a loose reference to Marvin from Hitchhiker's Guide. But I couldn't find any that were upbeat enough and fun enough to play. So here's what we got. From a 2009 collection of rarities and B-sides, this is the British band Ash and their guitar-heavy version of the Star Wars Cantina Band theme. I think you guys will love this.
All right, here it is. We'll play it now. We'll be back tonight. Be here at 5:30. We'll see you guys then. Thank you so much. Goodbye now.